Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and sexy humans around the world. My name is Scotty Milan.
And I'm Handsome Greg.
There you go. Over on my left is Handsome Greg. This is Being Human. One more, hold on. Dramatic ending.
I'm getting tingles.
I got a tingling on my balls right now. This is... I thought it was going to end sooner. Being Human, I'm your host, Scotty Milan. I have my man, Handsome Greg, over here on my left, Gypsy on my right, and here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Gypsy.
I'm sorry.
How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing good, brother.
First, I'm great. First and foremost, this is our maiden voyage of this show, so thank you for whoever's watching. Both of you out there that are watching this right now and enjoying yourselves so far. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the boys at Zadalza, New York, for making me part of the fam, having me here. Frank, Gypsy, Anthony out there, he can't hear me, all the guys. I'm sure there's a lot of guys I don't know yet too. I really believe in what you guys are doing here. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's change the world one broadcast at a time. Yes. Even if we don't, at least we had fun doing it, right?
Gotta give it a shot.
All right, beautiful. So, here we go.
Hit us, Scotty.
Let me get the nerves out. I'm a little nervous.
Get the mastermind cranking.
I'm a little
over
nervous.
There.
So,
I know you got some goods, man.
So we did a test broadcast a little while ago that no one saw, so it's no big deal. So I gave the little spiel then. I'll give it again right now. On Being Human, we're going to talk about the things that make us human. All right? We're going to be talking about the human experience, the human condition, how we got here, why we're here, where the hell we're going, as scary as that may look right now. We're going to talk about some social type stuff, especially today. We're going to talk about some biological stuff. We're going to talk about anatomy and physiology. We're going to talk about strength training and fitness and training for survival, because I myself am a strength and conditioning coach / massage therapist. So I'm kind of obsessed with everything that puts the human body together, the glue that holds us together.
Cool.
All right. So
Sounds good.
Actually, I was a guest one time on my man Handsome Greg's show that he has when he was at Iona College, right? The Bro Show.
The Bro Show.
Greg is actually graduating from Iona College soon, right?
Very soon.
Congratulations
Not
on
soon
that.
enough.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks.
And the things we talked about over there are some of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit today. Remember we talked about these kids.
Talk about the kids, Scott.
These fat, lazy, undisciplined,
Listen.
beta male, non-competitive kids. I'm sorry, that's the truth. I'm a truth speaker, okay? You know, we got here to a certain point in the history of the world. We got here to a certain point because of certain things that make us the way we are, whether it's evolution, whether it's our biology, our human nature, human behaviors, certain things that today we're just kind of throwing to the wayside. We're thinking, oh, we don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. You know, we're not realizing that we're animals. We're animals just like all the rest of the animals. The only thing, I mean, there's a lot of things that make us different, but philosophically, kind of, the only thing that really makes us different than the other animals is that we can try to not be like the other animals, right?
I like that.
We kind of shove down our natural human instincts, the things that make us animals, the things that make us survive. We shove them down because to protect people's feelings and to be politically correct and to just do all this crap. So I know on Frank's show he talks a lot about things like that. So I don't want to just copy the things that he says on his show after I come on after him. But we're going to come at it from an angle of why we do these things. Maybe we're biologically set up to be this way. And I think it's important to know where we come from, because without knowing that, we have no idea where we're going, right? There's that saying, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, right? And in some instances, I would say, well, there's some things that I hope we do repeat, right? Things like the American Revolution. I think that was a good thing, right? I mean, obviously, hopefully we don't need to have a reason.
The Native
to
Americans.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But
I don't
great
know, Scotty.
things. But great things. That was the first thing that popped in my head. Come on, I'm
I'd like to
nervous.
repeat the Enlightenment. That's what I want to go.
There we go. The
Enlightenment or
Renaissance,
the
things like that.
Renaissance, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I don't want to get shot.
You know
with a
those
musket.
dark ages, man. We just got to get back to those dark ages.
That bubonic plague, that shit was
Yeah.
popping.
So, but you know, and other things. It's like if we don't know why we do these things, you know, we don't know where we're headed, and that's kind of scary because I'm not liking direction where we're going. All right, especially when we're talking about the dreaded young kids of today, and what the future of this country and this world is going to be like when it's left in their hands.
So how do you think these kids got to be this way, Scott?
Well, great question, Greg.
Thank you.
Because today,
Alley-oop.
Yep.
and honestly, Greg didn't even know what we were talking about today, so that's kind of cool that you just asked me that.
Hey.
Because today we are going to be exploring from more of a social angle, not really evolutionary or biological angle. We're going to be exploring the things that made us who we are today. More specifically, the differences between the generations. Okay, now. I know we talk a lot of shit about millennials here, right? We make fun of them. We call them pussies.
We can say shit and
And-
pussy?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Dude, come on. This isn't Iona.
Yeah, you're right.
You can say whatever
not
the
a
hell you
Catholic
want.
school.
Go ahead. Give it a try.
No, I just did. I'm good.
All right, you sure?
Yeah, maybe
All
later.
right. Okay.
Thanks.
So, you know, we call them pussies and little beta males and all this stuff, and it is true. But number one takeaway from what we're going to talk about today, it is not your fault. Okay? It is not your fault. You are a product of the environment that you were raised in, that you grew up in. If we're going to blame anybody, blame your parents. All right? But it's not their fault either because they are a product of the environment they grew up in.
Yeah.
And their parents are a product of the environment they grew up in. And all the way back and all the way back, okay? So I have a little chart here that Frank was so nice to send me without even asking. This guy's such a sweetheart.
I just do what I can.
Frank seems like a nice guy. Very
Gypsy,
giving.
do you have it to be able to...
No.
Okay.
If you want to send it to me, you certainly can.
Did I email it to you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Awesome.
get that up on the screen in a second.
Yeah, man, we're
what-
high tech,
what-
bro.
What you're saying, Scott, is it seems like it's a generational thing,
It is. It is a generational thing.
and each generation is kind of different in their own asset.
Yes, absolutely. And, I mean, we all know this. Now, the thing about this whole generations thing, you know, there was a name for it, and I can't freaking remember it. I'm so ill-prepared right now. I can't remember what the name for it was. You know, the people who figure out what generations are what. There's a name for it, and it's just escaped my mind.
I forget what it's called.
Some kind of ology,
Yeah, I don't know.
ethology, or something.
So wait, it's a
I'm a
science.
failure.
It's the study of
I'm
generations.
a failure. Just stop watching this now. I'm
Is
done.
that what that is? It's a study of generations.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
not sure if they
ology
would call it
is
a
the study of
science.
something.
Yeah, it is a study of it. I don't know if they would call it a science because here's the deal. There is no the main problem we run into when we're kind of studying this kind of stuff, and I'm going to tell you about it right now, is there's no real definite definition for what each generation is, right?
And they kind of
So-
overlap too.
Yes, they do overlap. For
Well, I know
instance,
they have names for each generation.
Yeah, they do, but
baby
de-
boomers, millennials.
right, but depending on who you ask or what your source is, you might get different different
periods,
years,
stuff
different
like
time
that.
periods, even sometimes different names.
Right.
Some people include Generation Y. Some people say that's made up. All right, and the main and my main con- and here's the reason why I think there should be a Generation Y. By the way, you're not calling me a fucking millennial. Sorry.
Why?
What was the year of your birth?
1984, which
Okay.
depending, so I'm 31 years old, okay? There is no, and we'll get into this in a second, but there's no way that you can put people like me and you, Frank, you're 30,
I'm 31. I was 85.
Gypsy?
80. I'm Generation
Oh,
X.
shit.
So Gypsy, you're just at the tail end of X.
Yeah, I'm seeing here 1965 to 1980 is Generation
Right,
X.
but now, depending on who you ask, some people take Generation X to 1984,
I would, personally.
okay?
I think
All the way to
Generation Y is
1984.
like 90s.
Well, so here, actually, you know what? Let me switch to a different gear real quick, because I have another, this article, it's called Fuck You, I'm Not a Millennial. And it's actually, you know what? I've read a lot of articles about
interesting.
this, and this is Very well written. It's hilarious. It's informative, and it's good. Okay, so here we have. This says from the Harvard Center, Generation X started from 1965 to 1984. Okay, then Generation Y is kind of a floater that overlaps between Generation X and the Millennials, but it also says from Strauss and Howe that the Millennials go from 1982 to 2004. So I think there's a lot of different things that can play into what makes you each generation. But this article here kind of talks about how talks a lot of shit about millennials, and it's pretty hilarious, and you guys should read it. I'm gonna see if I could put a link in the chat room for it. This here is talking about. So okay, I was 10, 11 years old when the internet came out, when people started having computers in their houses and we were going on America Online and going into chat rooms and stuff. Maybe I was 12, okay?
Same.
Kids that were born in 1990 do not remember not having internet. They don't remember not having laptops and cell phones and iPhones and all that stuff, okay? That was never a thing to them. That's a time in history. That's the freaking land before time. They don't know about that, okay? We have a reference for, oh, there was a time when we didn't have any of this stuff. That alone is enough to make a serious border between two groups of people, all right?
Okay, so you think the internet barrier is what the generation should be separated by?
Oh, that's one thing. That's one thing. Let's talk about another thing, 9/11. Something that changed the world that we live in, right? I was 17 years old when that happened. I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. So I had a good chunk of life to remember before we started living in a post-9/11 world. Somebody who was born in 2000, who this is saying we're in the same generation, who was born into a post-9/11 world, who has no idea what it was like to not have to get strip searched to go to an airport, or to not have guys with guns in Grand Central.
You know, it's
all
very
over
true.
the place.
It's very
You know?
true. Just to think about all the kids that I have on, that I coach in Little League and all that shit. It's just to really think about it, the way that we acknowledged events, world events like Pearl Harbor, where we knew it was important, we knew it happened, but we were safely removed.
We didn't
from
know
it.
what it felt like.
That's them.
Yeah. That's how they think. So my nephews,
That's crazy.
I have 6 nephews. They're between the ages of 7 and 15. Okay, and I remember I was watching like Loose Change or something, and I told them straight up, oh, it's about 9/11, and it's something about some conspiracy theory 9/11. And I'm like, what's 9/11? And I explained it to them, what it was, what happened, and they had no idea. They said, oh, we heard of it, but just like to us, like
How
you
old are
said.
these kids?
What's that?
How old are these kids?
I think my nephews that I was talking to are about 10 and 12.
Yeah.
They were 2 brothers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just like you said, to us, Pearl Harbor is just a day in history, but we don't know what it felt like. Okay? So that's enough to make a huge generational gap. All right? To us, cell phones and the iPhones and iPads and all this crazy technology, you carry the world around in your hand. To us, that's freaking incredible. Right? So, and one of the things they talk about in this article is that we have this thought in the back of our minds subconsciously that this could be taken away from us. This isn't, to these kids that were born in 2000 or 1998 or something like that, that's just the way the world is. That's water. That's water coming out of the faucet to them. To us, it's something new. It's cool. It's
like a bonus.
Oh man, we remember it coming, so that means it might be able to end too, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things they talk about is how people our age and older are the ones that are on their phones looking at Instagram and internet and all that stuff way more than millennials, because we want to hold on to it so bad.
Yeah, that's something I never thought about.
Yeah, because we think it might be taken away one day. For them it's a granted.
Like water.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But has anybody actually done any research on like our age group? Are we really using it more than kids?
Well, that was that was in an article, in one article that I wrote, that I read. That was interesting. It was an interesting thing. I mean, just looking around, I've noticed that older people being on their phones a lot, blah blah blah. All right, so let's get into this real quick. We're going to start with baby boomers. All right, we already know the greatest generation, which is it was like coined by Tom Brokaw.
Who's
right?
Tom Brokaw?
He was
Say-
was it news? Is he a
So,
newser?
yeah,
A
news-
newser?
Newscaster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Back in the day.
real
Real
old
Is that
guy.
him?
Yeah. Well, they were the greatest generation, but also remember, they were the generation that elected FDR 4 times.
Well, they just didn't have any limitations back then.
Yeah.
Right. Now, think of this. They were the generation that saved us, saved our American way of life in World War II. Okay? Which was a tough freaking war. Back then, they fought wars by just overwhelming the enemy and having waves and waves and waves and waves of people just running into freaking bullets that were flying at you. Just your bodies just running, going, go, no matter what, just go. Now we're more tactical about it, right?
Yeah.
We do more work with less people, but it's not just freaking running in a line just to certain death now, It's more tactical and strategical. But to be able to go to something like that, your starting off point of toughness in life has to be pretty freaking high. Okay? Could you imagine
I see where you're going with this.
if a 20-year-old UC Berkeley student had to get drafted to fight in World War III tomorrow?
Right. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be able to hold his own unless he takes a martial arts class with you.
How confident would you be
Unless he's got a coach like
knowing
Scott.
that a bunch of 18-year-olds from today were getting drafted to fight in World War III?
Not that
It
confident.
could either be completely disastrous, especially with how I would have to say emasculated the military is becoming as well.
Oh, God.
And shrunken down, and the integration and the social experimentation with the military is a little disconcerting. But it could also, if you're going to talk about silver lining, maybe it's a thing that toughens some of them up.
I highly doubt it.
Okay, well, maybe there you go.
Highly doubt it. That is very ambitious of you, though,
I don't
Frank.
feel like other countries are going through what we're going through right now. in
European
regards to
countries are.
toughness.
Western European
Well,
countries
I
are.
mean, they're like the same, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
But no, definitely, yeah. I mean, and it's freaking sad. It really is, because we're totally willfully ignoring facts of nature, just so we can have it our way, have it the way we think it should be.
So we can have our iPhones.
Well, yeah, that too. But so we can have, crazy shit going on in the military. And up until now, the military has remained pretty apolitical. And now they're getting sucked into the whole political correctness, social justice warrior type thing, which is self-destructive, at the very least, I think.
How so?
Who was that?
How?
Greg? Oh, I thought that was Frank. How so?
Yeah. How's it self-destructive?
They're completely lowering the standards that it takes to be some of the most elite fighting forces of the military. Lowering standards just to get certain people in, which should never, ever, ever be an option, no matter what. They're just, just so someone could get a cool badge or wear a cool hat or something. You're telling them, oh, don't worry, well, you only have to do this much, but all the rest of these people have to do this much. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can actually back that statement up. When I was out in San Diego in SEAL training, as I was there.
I forgot to mention that to you guys, by the way. Go
As
ahead.
I was there, we noticed a transition and the standards getting lower and things becoming easier. Even though they're not easy at all, they become still easier than they were back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. But the fact does not change that you are going to have to go out, hump miles and miles and miles, pretty much be half starved, okay? Completely sleep deprived. You're going to have to do some seriously physical shit, and you're going to have to kill people, possibly with your hands. Possibly with your hands. And might have to die. The job does not change. The job description does not change. The risk factors of the job do not change. But the qualifications to get that job are being dropped. Insane. Completely insane.
I'm glad you bring this up because I think on it's either going to be Monday. It's a soft yes from Monday. But you remember when you were on that? It might have been one of the first times you were on the show. You came on to talk about integration of the military with
Yeah, when they opened up all the combat rules to women.
yeah, with Gadget Doc and our buddy Bill from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's going to come back on again because he is very, very into covering all of the failures of military integration.
Yeah.
And
It has not been going well.
it has been going well. I see it I see footage of training how just women are not able to keep up. They're getting just trucked. And it doesn't make
Scott,
sense.
you're a trainer. You know about these types of things. Can you give us a breakdown on the difference between male and female bodies and capacities?
Sure. Let's do that. Okay.
Please. Knowledge,
So-
knowledge, man. Let's educate the crowd.
Okay, so, well, first of all, men make testosterone, right? We have hormones and chemicals in our body that naturally make us more aggressive.
Well, girls do too, just not as much.
Stronger, right? Chemicals and hormones in our body that make us stronger, more aggressive. You know, pound for pound, relative strength.
Sure.
Okay. For instance, in the Marine Corps, okay, to get a perfect score on a PFT, which is a physical fitness test, I think a male has to do 20 pull-ups. A woman is okay passing doing 3. That's actually really good. If a woman could do 3,
What?
it's actually really good. But their bodies are built differently, okay? So for a woman to not be able to do 20 pull-ups, that's not a big deal,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
You know, if a guy can't do 20 pull-ups, you could say, well, if a guy can't do 3 pull-ups, then you could say, okay, well, you need to freaking train, son. You need to get your ass on that pull-up bar. If a woman can't do 3 pull-ups, it's not a big deal because women are not usually pumping out 20 pull-ups. There's plenty of them that can. I've seen it with my own eyes. This is not a all or nothing kind of thing at all. All right? But, you know, women have different bodies. Women are susceptible to different injuries than men are, more injuries. All right? Women, sanitation things when it comes to being in the field.
Girl stuff.
Okay? Yeah. But then you also have, and look, none of this at all is to say women can't do this and men can. That is not anything that I'm saying.
We're just talking
Before I
science.
offend anybody, which we are going to do a lot on this show, just to be clear. Okay? This is truth. We are on an unapologetic journey to the truth. That is it, nothing more. Okay? So I'm not saying women can't do it. All right? I've served with women that could do it, and they did the shit out of it, and they did it better than me, some of them. Okay? So that is
Yeah,
not what I'm saying at all.
What exactly did they do better than you though? Because they didn't do everything as far as the physical aspects go. Because they can't. as
So
we
I
just
used to
talked about.
load 1,000-pound bombs onto jets, right?
Yeah.
And we'd lift them with our hands.
Right.
And I knew women that could just freaking throw up the nose of a bomb like nothing.
What?
All right? Like it was nothing. Nothing.
Wow.
All right? So it's not, I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is you don't lower the freaking standards
To be able to throw.
to be able to get more people in there. You
So
don't,
are you an advocate of separate but equal especially when you start thinking about situations where you're in the field and you may need to carry the body, you know, a wounded brother or sister somewhere to safety, and you're like you said, trekking miles. Is it better in that situation to be able to, for a woman to be carrying another woman instead of being able to carry a 250-pound man? Like things like practical questions to be asked. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think?
if we were speaking in generalities, then possibly, yeah. I mean, that's how they train. That's how Marines and women in the Marines train in boot camp with other women. In the Army, they train integrated. In the Marines, they do not. And I'm not sure if they do in the Navy, right? They don't
No.
in the Navy, right? It's not
No, they don't.
integrated. And in the Marines, they don't. When they're doing all those combat exercises, they're carrying other women, all right? And they're making it, and they're doing it. But there are plenty of women that could throw friggin' you and me on their back and carry us both out.
So you're telling me that
It shouldn't be we need women, we need men, we need this. It should be we need someone who could do this job. That is it. We need someone who can meet these standards. Now, where the woman thing comes in is, and this is actually a thing that does happen, okay, is that let's say you have a unit, right? You've seen G.I. Jane, right?
What's a
Obviously,
unit, Scott?
It's a unit of people, a squad, a platoon, a group of people that work together and fight together and train together, okay? And then you have, let's say 50 men. You have 2 women in there, okay? Now, what does happen, I'm not saying this has to happen or will happen all the time, but what does happen now is that all of a sudden now all these people that are one unit, brothers, they shit together, they eat together, they shower together, they piss together, everything, okay? Now you have 1 or 2 people that are gonna come in. You think they're gonna shower together and shit together and piss together and all that stuff, men and women together?
No.
I mean, and if they did, okay, that's fine, but I don't think they're going to. And then that's where the unit cohesion starts breaking up. There's little things that people, you can say, well, this is on paper, PT scores and rifle scores, and could you drag this out? But there's little cultural things that you don't know unless you were there, right? that you're just people who are not in the military are not going to understand. Like, what was his name that we had on that show? Not Gadget Talk, the other guy, Bill?
Bill.
Right, when he was talking about how, you know, when freaking the guys, pull down each other's pants or fucking pretend like they're banging or whatever, do some gay shit or slap each other on the ass. All that kind of
Wait,
fuck
that
around
doesn't
stuff.
That
And you know it does, especially in the Navy.
All the
It
camaraderie,
does.
you mean?
Yeah, the little things like that just make you so close. Once women come around to it, now you can't do that anymore, right? And they actually have meetings, and they're having formations in the Army where they have to say, well, this is what's acceptable now. You can't do that anymore. You have to watch what you say. You have to watch how you act. You have to watch what you do, right? And it goes both ways. Women don't do certain things in front of men. Men don't do certain things in front of women. It goes both ways, right? Now, if we could forget about all that and just be one unit, awesome, right? It shouldn't be about what's hanging between your legs. It should be about, can you do the freaking job?
All right, so say a female and a male terrorist are fighting hand to hand, and that girl is not strong. What's gonna happen? I think I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So why put her on the front lines in the first place if it's like the odds are against her? If
Well,
most men
what if
could
she's
take
proven
her down,
herself that she can hang
how would a girl prove herself so she can hang?
the same way a guy does?
Not physical strength.
The same training and exercises that the men do to show that they have what it takes to be in combat. If a woman could match or surpass
Hand to hand.
those same qualifications, then I think she's shown she could do it.
All right then.
I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't have the answers. I'm not the guy that's, oh, well, this is how it's going to be now. It's all open for discussion.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I mean, talking about having little 18 and 19 and 20-year-old kids from today going into the military. I mean, they've been coddled their whole lives. They've been, getting participation trophies. They've been told competition is bad. Competition leaves people out. Competition isn't good. Competition means one person's better than the other. Yeah, it does, and that's a good thing. That is in our human nature, to compete and to be aggressive, okay? Competition is what got us here, right? Competition is what got us to the moon, to outer space, right?
Where are you hearing this from, though? Where are you getting? Where's this? Who's saying this?
Hold on. What was that? If the Russians had never whipped it out and showed us they had a bigger dick than us, we never would have been all emasculated and shit and said, oh, well, now we got to go to the moon. We got to show them what's up, right? That's competition. Competition is what makes us do great things, all right? And these kids today are being told we can't have one person better than the other.
Says who?
We can't have. That's the thing that is being preached.
Yeah, but I want to know who said
kids
that.
today.
How do you know that?
Soccer moms.
I know from knowing kids, from being in. I was in. Dude, you're an adult in college right now.
Yeah.
Right? You haven't heard any of this stuff going on in your classroom?
Community
not really.
Community
I have.
sports programs too. I mean, they're starting it at real young. Participation trophies, consolation prizes, all that stuff.
One thing I can think of is the dodgeball game.
Dodgeball's not
We use
allowed
like
because some kids feel weak.
because you get hit in the head. And they're all. I don't know.
Let me ask you something. So it's totally okay for a kid to get left back because he's not good enough in math or science or social studies or English or whatever. You can give him a bad grade and say, you're not good enough, you need to leave back, right? You need to get left back, all right? And that you're not worried about him feeling inadequate, but the kid who doesn't want to participate in physical education, it's okay to say, well, no, you can't give him a 0 for the day. That's
That's a great point.
That's not, maybe the kid who doesn't excel in math will excel in phys ed, right? Not all of us are going to be freaking engineers. When I was in sophomore year in high school was the last time I took math. All right, because I passed the Regents by 1 point. I hate math.
Same.
All right? And I asked my math teacher, why do I need to know that? Why do I need to do math with letters? I don't get it. This makes no sense. She said, what if you want to be an engineer? I said, guess what? I don't want to be an engineer. What else you got? She had nothing else for me.
What else you got?
Okay?
What else
She had nothing. She had nothing else for me. Okay. Now listen, we're not all going to be engineers. We're not all going to be biologists or chemists. Okay. But guess what? We all do have. Every single person in this room and outside this room and every human.
I think I got this one.
We all have. You're gonna ruin my punchline,
Oh,
Greg?
My bad. What do we have?
We all have a freaking body. That needs to be able to work, right? It needs to be able to be fast. It needs to be able to keep us alive. It needs to be physically fit, okay? And that is the one subject in school that they're saying, well, let's not let's get rid of it. Let's not tell these kids they have to do gym. Actually, matter of fact, let's get rid of gym class altogether. Some schools are doing that. Defunding physical education.
Because a lot of it is because of ableism. They don't want kids to be intimidated. They think it's a microaggression in itself. To have to feel like you have to excel to a certain point, that other people are ahead of the game. They want to promote body positivity, as if we're all going to either come out of the womb as an Adonis, or we're going to come out. We have to. No. Everybody that comes out of the womb has to work at maintaining what they've got and building it up. And there's different types of. There's
got to make choices for themselves.
Seriously, there's different body types. Not everybody's going to be a power lifter, but everybody can be within their own. I don't know. It's sad.
It's infuriating right now.
It is.
It's so infuriating that I need a break. Let's go to a quick commercial break in here from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, all right? I need a break.
Bulletproof has always been about identifying and taking advantage of every single thing that makes people perform better. When you drink it, you just don't care about food. No cravings, no hunger for 4 to 6 hours, and you feel a kind of mental clarity that you probably haven't felt in years.
Have you heard of Bulletproof coffee? I tried it today. I feel pretty good.
Addicted to Ink, a proud sponsor of the Zaraza Entertainment Network, is Westchester's premier tattoo, piercing, and apparel destination, offering only the finest tattoo and piercing services as well as the best atmosphere you will find. Addicted to Ink is located conveniently at 38 Westchester Avenue in White Plains, New York, right across the street from the Westchester Mall. If you got the itch for more ink, like the Zaraza boys do, get your work done right. Visit www.addictedtoinktattoos.com for more information.
If you're a fan of hookah and shisha, go to hookahshisha.com. We love hookahs and hookah products. We have great customer service, extremely fast shipping and packaging, a great selection with most asked for and most exclusive brands and products. Lowest price is guaranteed and will price match any lower advertised price. Hookahshisha.com is the first online retailer of hookahs and hookah products and strives to remain the best. Hookahshisha.com has the world's largest selection with 100% satisfaction guarantee and a 30-day no-hassle return policy. Order ships within 24 hours or less with a focus on proper packaging to keep your hookah shisha products intact upon delivery. Use discount code ZEN, that's Z-E-N, for 15% off your next purchase. Hookahshisha.com, your only stop for hookah and shisha products online.
You're watching the Zaraza Entertainment Network on ZenLive.tv.
That was a good break. That was a good break. Me, I love Greg, handsome Greg. Me and him, we're just so close. We just bounce shit off each other. We're so close that we finish each other's
sentences.
We didn't even plan that.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we got a little sidetracked because we're getting hot and heavy and emotional and talking about stuff that me and Greg are, and Frank and Gypsy, we're all both pretty emotionally invested in. And let me just take one before we get into this. I kind of missed something at the beginning when I was going through my spiel about what the show was going to be about. I kind of have a promise, and you reminded me on the break, Greg. I kind of have a promise to the viewers of this show, okay? Is that everything that we talk about, and when we do talk about things that are our own opinions or our own philosophy, we're open about it. This is what I think, this is what I believe, whatever. But a lot of the things that we talk about when it comes to stuff like this is going to be fact-based, okay? We're, as much as we can, we're going to be posting sources of our information in the chat room, showing different things, articles, charts, diagrams, whatever, up on the screen over here once I figure out how to make that happen. Hopefully, actually, we do have one person lined up so far, but hopefully we're going to have some experts and professions in the field of evolutionary psychology and human behavior and stuff like that to talk to. So that is kind of my promise to you guys, whoever's watching this. We just have integrity, We are going to be talking about some things that are going to get kind of uncomfortable. I promise you that.
Like
okay? Well, we'll get into it when we get to it.
Oh, you can't tell us a little bit?
Well, okay. When we get into stuff about like evolutionary stuff, especially when it comes to genetic type stuff, that's when I'll definitely have someone on to talk about it that knows more than I do.
Okay.
All right, stuff that would get us some hate mail, maybe.
Yeah.
Death threats and all that is
I
exciting.
never had hate mail before.
You know, if half the world doesn't hate you, then you're not doing your job, right?
Yeah.
That's
Trump.
I heard that somewhere.
Trump.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
I'll tell you what. I can't. Frankly, you know, I called this guy. He takes my calls. Greg.
What is this?
Okay.
What accent is
That was my freaking Trump.
That was actually pretty good.
I don't know.
That sounded like an old Jewish man.
Leave me alone.
What?
That's offensive, Greg. That's offensive.
No. You know
All
what I'm talking about.
So, as I said before, we are on an unapologetic journey to the truth. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. We will talk about what is true, what is factual. We're going to talk about stuff that there's scientific evidence for, and we're even going to talk about the stuff that there's scientific evidence against. So if we're talking about something and there's two kind of schools of thought on it, maybe me and Greg will each take a stance and we'll kind of debate it a little bit, and we'll find as much information as we can on it.
So
we're here to be fair and balanced. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
What about the fat kids, Scott?
Let's get back into this.
I'm serious. We
right?
never really hit the nail on the head with like why they're fat. You know, I just Google search over here. Why are kids fat?
He really did.
I swear to God, you really did. You have no idea. Like 6 real culprits that are making American kids fat, and you know, I'm just saying. Sugar.
God. Well, you know what? When it comes to sugar and all that stuff, that does play a part.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of it is that we have kids that are sitting inside all day. Let me tell you something. Funny thing. Weird thing. Kids now, I'm not talking about the college kids now, but kids between 4 and 10, okay? What they do for fun is watch other kids play video games on YouTube. Truth.
Yeah.
That's truth. Okay? My own nephews.
You said truth?
Truth.
Okay.
My own nephews, I'm sitting there watching them. What are you doing? He's watching some other kid play Minecraft.
Yeah.
All right? There's a thing. Huge thing. Some woman has like 9 million followers because she takes her kids to the toy store and records it and then takes them home and shows them opening their toys and playing with them. And it's like little things like that are like, how is that going to affect kids in the future?
It's keeping them inside, man.
When they're 25 years old, instead of going on vacation to the Bahamas, are they just going to watch a video of the Bahamas? Little things like that.
That seems like a stretch.
So we don't know where the
you're right though, actually.
where the TBD that's to be determined in show business talk. We don't know what the TBD generation is going to end up like, but we can look at the things that might be making them a certain way right now. And I think that the parents of the youngest generation right now, I'm talking about, you know, my son's age. I have a 4-month-old son. My son's age. We're looking at the college kids now, and we're kind of saying, my kid is not going to fucking end up like that.
So,
okay,
we got fat kids. We got college kids that can't go to war because they're too soft. And then we got your kid. How's he going to turn out, and how are you going to get him the way you want him to turn out?
You know what? To be honest with you, I'm kind of figuring that out as I go along.
What's the game plan?
I'm kind of figuring that out as I go along.
You're very aware of a serious epidemic / problem that we're experiencing in America.
I mean, I don't want to baby him. I don't want to treat him
strategize here.
Like he's like he can't think for himself. I don't want to be a helicopter parent type person, you know. And it does go all the way back to Generation X, actually. So let's get back into this real quick. Let's explore this for a second.
Damn, I had a good question, Scott.
Go ahead.
So say you get your son away from the fatness and the watching video games for fun, right? What are you accomplishing by making him not like that? What are you getting out of that? What's the overall end all here?
Well, so let's be clear.
One?
I don't want to make him any kind of way or make him do anything.
Guide him.
Okay? I want to teach him how to be a respectable, responsible man.
Right.
Okay? I want him to be the kind of person that could live on his own when he's an adult.
That's able to go to war, unlike the UC Berkeley kids.
Oh, I mean, if it ever came down to it, I would hope that he would not able to go to war, but just able to defend himself. able to defend himself without going and crying to someone else, right? The kids of today, okay, they were raised in a mindset that you did something to me or you're doing something that I don't like, therefore I get to get an authority figure to stop you. Right. Instead of handling themselves at the lowest echelon possible. Okay? That's kind of how they were raised. Oh, you hit me, I'm telling. You hit me, I'm telling. You hit me, I'm telling. You make more money than me, I'm telling.
What do you think that does to somebody by always taking that route?
I think it turns them into the kids we see today. Right?
Okay.
These people are doing something I don't like, so we need to get the government to stop them.
Oh.
Okay, these people disagree with me, so they need to be banned from campus.
That's why everybody's suing everybody nowadays, right?
It's ridiculous.
Okay,
all right?
I get where you're going.
So let's go.
Generation X.
Let's go back. We're gonna go back to the baby boomers first. Okay. Now my parents are baby boomers.
Yeah.
All right. And let's say I think most people that are millennials, maybe not most, there's some half and half. Millennials, I think, were raised mostly by people that are Generation X. That's how it seems like the age kind of works out. Now, baby boomers are the parents of the Gen Xers, is what the cool people call it. Okay, so baby boomers are the parents of the Generation Xers. Now, baby boomers were raised in a America is great coming right off the World War II. Okay, it was pull yourself up by your bootstraps when shit gets bad and you can do anything, and the American dream was tangible and you can actually grab it, and it was, grab America by the balls and shake her upside down and get her, empty your pockets and give her all you got, and just, it's great. Okay, they were raised with that kind of mindset, right? So which is why, like my mother, if I say something about something going wrong, she'll be like, well, fix it, we'll do it. Well, how's business? It's not great. We'll get more business then. Okay, well, me, I mean, obviously I should be thinking like that. No excuses, blah, 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 whatever. And, but, I kind of come up with some excuses. Well, it's harder than I thought it was going to be, and all that stuff. All right? Now, some people, depending on where you look, they split the baby boomers into two separate categories, right?
Yeah.
Baby boomers 1, baby boomers 2. Because you have people like my parents who are almost 70, right? My dad's gonna be 70 next month, all right? He was born in 1946, okay? Earliest baby boomers there is. And he is the straight and narrow, follow authority no matter what, just because it's authority, no matter what they tell you to do, listen to the police, respect the government, blah, 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 all that,
sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then you have the people that were born later that were the hippies, right?
Pretty much.
My dad was not a hippie. He was a straight edge freaking, joined the Navy. Yeah, okay. Then you have the people that were a little younger than that ended up being hippies, counterculture, fuck authority, fuck this, fuck that. I don't need to do what you tell me, all that stuff. I don't think those should be together in the same generation, right? Their kids, Generation X, okay, which came right after, the women's lib and all this stuff. Women want to go to work. Women want to do this. Women want to get divorced without having the stigma on it, okay? Now, they're raising Generation X, who is the first generation to be raised in single-parent households, divorced parents, two working parents, the first generation of latchkey kids.
What's a latchkey kid?
10-year-old kid that gets home from school, no one's home, makes himself dinner, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Took care of themselves, okay? Also, the first generation of kids to see other kids' faces on milk cartons. Other kid missing, right?
Right.
Remember that back in the day? They used to have faces on milk cartons. Generation X was the first kids that became a normal occurrence. All right? So now they're going through life saying, oh my God, this is terrible. Everyone's out to get us. I'm on my own. So they became kind of cynical and pessimistic about stuff, right? And this is in general. Obviously, there's some people out there that are just not like this at all. But this is just the things that define the generations, okay? So now, these parents, when they have kids, are saying, oh my God, the world is so dangerous. I don't want my kid to end up, with a divorced parents and all this stuff. And I don't want my kid having hardships like I did and having to come home by themselves. And so they coddle, always around.
Is that what happened to you?
No.
Okay.
No, my parents were baby boomers.
So you weren't
right, so my
like
parents
that.
were different. So there was an actual, a 2-generation gap instead of a 1-generational gap. Right? Because of how old my parents are, I should be 10 years older. Right? All my brothers and my sisters are, my youngest brother is 7 years older than me. I came way later. So, Gypsy,
Yes.
You've been kind of quiet over there, man. You're making
chilling,
me nervous.
man.
I'm like, did I say
sorry.
something to piss him
He's
off?
working,
No,
bro.
not at
Is he
all.
offended
He's
because he's a
working.
Gen X guy? I'm like,
No,
what
not
the
at all.
fuck?
I'm listening and I'm learning, and I'm actually borderline kind of criticizing how they've lumped these people together. 'Cause
Yeah, on that chart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's too many. Because my parents, they were born 48, 49, so they're definitely baby boomers, and I guess more of the hippie side. But my dad's grandparents had him while he was really young. Like, he had really kind of cool parents that were from the more traditionalist side. But they almost acted like hippies in certain ways, as far as their kind of let their kids take care of themselves type of attitude, kind of a lot more laissez-faire type of parenting, which obviously has its positive and negatives. But I remember having. I was the opposite. I wasn't a latchkey kid. My mom worked from home, so I was jealous of kids that came home and their parents weren't home and they got to watch TV, at least until 6 o'clock. I was stuck. As soon as I got home, do your homework. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I had my father worked in the building that we lived in, so he was home or just around the building sometimes, and my mother would always come home later. So I got to hang out at home by myself sometimes when I got home until my mother came home later, and then at night it was.
So let me ask you this, Scotty. So now, like, your kid, it's 4 months. Technically, they will be born into millennial?
No, that's not a named generation.
Not a named generation.
They kind of they judge the generations.
I hear it all the time on the news, though. It's not named.
You hear what on the news?
Millennial.
No. I'm told millennials ended in 2004.
Oh, so what's now?
According to
where are we at right now?
Okay, so you see now, interesting. This chart says millennials go from 1981 to 2000. This article, this comes from Strauss and Howe, goes from 1982 to 2004. So it depends on who you ask. It's all different. And this has Generation Y going all the way from 1975 to 2004.
Honestly, I think it can change. I could see 5-10 years from now them splitting up that baby boomer, almost like a 1A and 1B type of thing.
Yeah, when some places do, they call boomers 1, boomers 2.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that in a few different places.
And it makes sense because there is such a social difference between how those groups of people were raised and how they viewed society and how they, left their imprint on society going forward.
Right.
Completely different.
But as far as the next generation, they're too young now because they kind of judge the generations by the years that they come of age.
Makes sense.
What the years that you're a teenager, I guess.
Do you think that there's a chance that the next generation might rebel against the millennials and actually?
I seriously hope so.
I think there's a chance. I believe people, society, these things are cyclical.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's guys like us having conversations like this and people that think like us and we are not unique people who are talking about this stuff. Okay.
You got to have an awareness. You got to create an awareness.
Right. But I think parents of younger kids now are kind of seeing that go on. What participation trophies and no physical education kind of does to a society and are trying to kind of reverse that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
I see it as a pendulum. I mean, it swings from left to right and eventually slows down and things kind of settle in the middle eventually. But it takes generations upon. It's going to take another 50 years for people to kind of normalize out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
What do you think of that, Greg?
Listen, I'm not too sure about the whole generational gap. I don't see the huge problem there. I mean, there's definitely a difference between everybody, but what can we do about it, Scott? What can we do?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
What about the fat kids, man? I'm still stuck on the fat kids.
You and those fucking fat kids. I don't know what we do about it, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously we can't turn back time. We can't reverse anything. And the more that you try to tell these college kids right now that this isn't the way the world is, the more they push back. And they say, well, I feel uncomfortable. I feel a certain kind of way, so the world has to change for me, right? Because that's the way they were raised with that special snowflake. I hate to use that cliche, that special snowflake kind of mentality, where your parents are telling you, you're special, you're unique, you can do anything, and which is great to give a kid encouragement, right? But giving them unrealistic expectations for life is just irresponsible. And like I said before, it is not their fault. It's not. But unfortunately, they're the ones that are going to have to be uncomfortable for a little while and not always get what they want for a little while until this kind of
Yeah, I think they're just all going to get a
resets
reality check. They're just going to grow up and get a reality check. I don't think there is. I mean, there's nothing that us as individuals can. You can't make anyone change or think a certain way. They just have to go through life and learn.
You got to roll with it or get rolled over.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just.
That's it. I got no sympathy for them.
So here's the thing: we got millions of parents out there, millions of kids, right? I think that part of the problem is that the parents themselves are unaware of these problems. And why it's like this. So if we can educate the parents on, like, listen, you know, there's a big epidemic on the softness / fatness.
Right, but now, how about this though? Once the damage is done, what can a 23-year-old who's 23 right now, what can their parents do?
Right now?
Really? Yeah. What can their parents do to change them?
Nothing.
They're already
it's too late.
They're already sucked into the machine.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I think the only thing we could do is fix it from here going forward. I don't really know if there's a way to. I mean, you know what? I mean, like I said, roll with it or get rolled over. Once these kids get out into the real world and they have to compete, and you know what? I would not be surprised if things did change for them in the way that they expected to. All right? I hope it doesn't. Wouldn't be surprised if it did, because that's what it seems that they're doing right now, is just kowtowing to people who just.
We're seeing a trend, right, from back in the day, the World War era and all that, right, till millennials, till now. Where do you see this going 20 years from now?
I think it could get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better. I really do. I think when we think, oh no, this could never happen. These kids can't get worse, and then they get worse. They'll never do. I don't know. I can't even. There's just so many freaking things going through my head. I can't even think of one example.
But do you think
like, they won't? Go ahead.
Do you think that there is, because of the internet and this almost instantaneous group reaction to things that are positive and negative? Do you think if, the idea and the concept of, social laziness and not doing your, patriotic duty, whether it's being informed about, voting and things that's going on in the community, taking pride in your job and stuff like that, do you think it's possible that it could be such a trend and a backlash that, literally the country is blaming millennials for the downfall of this country? Do you think it could do a 180 within, 5 years? Literally the next generation is like, all right, fuck that shit. We're not doing that.
I think so.
Absolutely.
I do think so, and I hope so.
Yeah. I just think things can change dramatically a lot quicker nowadays, for better or for worse. Like, maybe we'll, I don't know. Maybe Maybe we'll shit the bed.
Well, I mean,
year,
you have other things that are unforeseeable happening, right? Like how we talked about 9/11. Right? Changing the world and the country and society and people and the people that were born before or after,
Back to the Future predicted it. Sent you the video.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have to take for huge events like that for people to, to change. It should be more of a cultural standard.
Yeah, but people are asleep.
Yeah, but you can try to force change down people's throats, or they can naturally change because of unforeseen circumstances. And neither of those could be good per se.
Right.
But are we almost out of time, Gypsy?
We got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
If you want. I mean, we always can end early if you want, but
Greg?
We got 4 more minutes.
We're chilling, dog.
Final thoughts? You want to get last licks?
No. You know what? I feel like we touched base on a lot of important things tonight, especially with the fat kids and everything.
We just didn't dive deep enough into those fat kids for Greg. Next time, you know what? Next time we're gonna do, Greg. Next time we're gonna have a well-researched, a well-thought-out, and very specific talk and debate.
Please, that'd be
about
great.
fat kids.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Scotty's giving too, just
Lazy
like Frank.
kids. And you know what? well, we'll put it all together. It's laziness, it's undisciplined, it's being a docile, beta male, non-competitive wuss. I'm sorry to sound all macho. I got this kind of beard thing going on, so I got to match the part.
But I mean, is that so bad? If everybody's at peace? What do you need that for?
Not everybody's at peace.
They always say you should be peaceful until someone crosses the line and then you beat the shit out of them.
Because these kids, because
it's true.
These are the kind of people that were allowed to. Okay, damn it! I had a thing I wanted to mention and I forgot to mention it. You know what? Here we go.
What?
Gypsy, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna give a little spiel. All right, and then when I give you the signal, Gypsy, you're gonna cut us out and it's gonna be nice and dramatic. Okay?
Let's do it.
Can we do that?
Sure.
All right.
Do it.
Greg, you got anything you want to say before?
No, I'm ready.
Before I do my thing?
I'm hungry.
Okay, ready?
Dinner time.
Did you guys ever see the movie or read the book by H.G. Wells, The Incredible Time Machine?
No.
I know the movie, yes.
Okay, you see the movie. So when he goes, 80,000 years into, this is going to be the signal, right? This is going to be the signal. I'm going to go, peace.
Okay.
So they go like 80,000 years into the future, okay? And there's these creatures called the Morlocks that live underground, okay? They're never out in the sunlight. They come out at night. The people that live above ground, I forgot what they were called, but they are like, they're freaking lemmings, okay? They're not predators. They are prey for these warlocks, all right? They have evolved in such a way that they're just sitting around in the field, waiting, completely, bonobo chimp style, just, completely uncompetitive, unaggressive, won't even flinch to save their own child from being killed, okay? They're just they're not rolling with it. They're getting rolled over, okay? Completely getting rolled over. These Morlocks come out of the ground. They eat these people. They kidnap them. They kill them.
Gruesome.
And it's a great movie. You guys should see it. It's a great concept.
I'll watch it.
I kind of see it represented today in the people that are just letting things happen to them and to their society and just kind of taking it, right? People are calling them cucks. Have you heard that term, cucks?
No.
All right. It's in our human nature to fight back, to fight for ourselves, to defend our family, to defend our country, to defend against injustices, anything like that, okay? I'm talking about real injustices, not the little invisible millennial injustices, by the way, all right? All of this stuff is in our human nature. We are built to survive, okay? We are built to be fast, strong, agile, coordinated machines that just want to survive in any way we can, okay? You out there, you, Gypsy and Greg,
yes,
you are the result of 4 billion years of evolutionary perfection, and you need to start acting like it. And that's just part of being human. Peace.